for absence.
Apologies have been received from councillors Jeremy and Jefferson.
Thank you. 60424, declarations of any disclosable pecuniary interests. Oh, okay. Right, 605/24 minutes of Heritage and Events Committee. To confirm the minutes of the Heritage and Events Committee meeting held on the 15th of January 2025 as a true record and to be signed by the committee chair. Do we agree the minutes from the last meeting? Yeah, so happy for me to sign them, please? Just do that later.
Hey.
I think Mike's going to join us later, isn't he? Yeah. Right, 60624/24, report on the activities of the Heritage and Events team since the last meeting. This is to receive a report on the activities of the Heritage and Events team since the last meeting. This is just to note the report.
I think what we've been trying to do for the last year or so is really work out how do we actually communicate to this committee, what do we actually do in the team, some of the challenges we're facing, and how we're going to go forward. So what I've done is I've written the report, which I had distributed with the agenda pack. This is one or two things that I really just wanted to highlight. The one was our hired events. We had quite an interesting event on the 22nd of February. We had one of our disruptors hiring the venue and had a number of people attending. The town clerk, rightly, with hindsight, classified it as a high risk event and attended. And it was quite an eye opener for myself. And I came and helped the town clerk on the Saturday. Town clerk was here from 9:30 in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. We had a little bit of interventions around risk management, etc. I came and helped do the rest of the event, and I think at the end of the day, the event went very well. We learned so much from our sessional staff members, so much about procedures, etc. And that's really what we've kind of put into the bag, the learning curve to go forward. The education activities are there. There's a highlight of that, and I think that's really been, we've had our activities included in our previous reports. So this is really just taking that and making it a little bit kind of more friendly. And then partnership events. There have been no partnership events, to my knowledge, since the last meeting. I think we've really had to go back and revisit in what we do, how we kind of manage our commercial risk, how we manage our partnership risk. So those events haven't happened. The one issue that we have had is the implementation of the new hire fees. So what I've been doing is meeting with the events officer. We've been meeting with the hirers that are impacted on that. It has been quite difficult to set up those meetings, but really to explain why we've had to put up the fees. Our fees hadn't gone up for a number of years, so there was quite a significant catch-up. And what we've done is just had those engagements, and we'll continue to have those engagements so that the new hirers understand that at the end of the day, it costs us money to have the venue. No one pays to come to work, and we were probably paying our sessional staff members far much more money than we were actually earning from the rental fee. So that's going well. I think there might be some adverse reactions. Initially, people said we're going to walk away, but some of them, one of the vendors that was hirers that was in last night, they think they found a solution and they're going to continue going. But they all do understand, as much as it has had an impact on them, the necessity for doing that. Our sessional staff members, the town clerk has kind of identified that as an area that we have to look at. Our whole model for the heritage and events works around a sessional staff model. We can't have 37-hour staff sitting in the office Monday to Friday and then having staff work events on a Saturday and the Friday night and the Saturday or Sunday. So that's really been looked at, and I say the town clerk has looked at things like remuneration and of our sessional staff members, and we've really just got to clarify their duties and look at some of the challenges that they face. The status of the kitchen roof is, as town clerk has really updated all councillors on that. We had a status, we've had a report back. We've just given some clarity as to whether we can open the kitchen and under what condition, or whether we have to basically condemn the kitchen. I was hoping to have some more information for this meeting, but unfortunately, we're still waiting for our structure. We've just got back to our structural engineers to give us some further clarity on their report, and then we'll know where we stand. It does have an impact on the events of the Carnegie. The change of DPS with Old David's, if I use that phrase, leaving, we've had to appoint DPS. Unfortunately, I'm the only person in the whole staff complement that has a personal license, so I am now the DPS. Hopefully, we'll change that. My understanding and reading of the rules and the research that I've done is that they have changed the role of the DPS. The DPS previously could delegate authority, etc. I've hunted for that authority. I used to run a pub way back in 2011. I used to do that, have a little list of people that I could delegate authority to serve. I can't find that authority still exists. So we're going to have to invest in personal licenses and just kind of address some of the risks that we face there. Otherwise, we don't sell alcohol. So I don't think it would be a very good idea for some of our events. The booking documentation, I've started to do a big project there. I'll hand that over to you, David, because we've just got to get all our paperwork in place, how we assess, how we accept events, how we risk assess them, what information we want from the hirers, and then how do we manage that. So that's an ongoing process that will take quite a while. And then just at the end of the report, I've just really summarised what are some of the issues. We've got bar stock rationalisation, optimal stock levels and pricing, service standards, customer satisfaction surveys, marketing of the venues, equipping the kitchen if and when it opens, event and higher risk management assessments, optimal staffing and allocation of duties, and technical support services to higher risks. So that's really where we're at. I've just added those. I'm sure new David will add significantly to the list when he's more up to speed. But those are the type of things that we've got to focus on and really get right and make this the Heritage and Events team more substantive. And I'll end there. Sorry for repeating what was really written, but I just thought I'd highlight some of those additional issues.
Okay, any comments, Matt?
Thank you, Katie Allen, and well done for doing 3 days at least. Thank you for your hard work. It is always noted and appreciated. Just a little tidbit of requests more than anything. When we have events at the Guild, not the Guild Hall, the Carnegie, and we have the bar open, can we look at appropriate staffing levels of the bar? Case study, we had the mayor's quiz a few weeks ago. An excellent night, and I hope it was really fruitful at the bar, but the queue for the bar was coming in 2 directions, 2 lines formed. One was queuing to the main event, and I know most of us were there. There was one bar staff on, and I'm really bad names, it's Kate, isn't it? She's got the sort of reddish coloured hair.
No, so that's the civic officer.
Yes, she had to step in and go behind the bar to help, because we actually had one bar person working, and then the civic officer had to go and stay behind the bar and help. So if we just look at for future sort of events, making sure we have, if we're going to open the bar, the quicker we serve people, the more likely we're going to go back and get another one. And so it works out better in the long run. But if we just look at appropriate staffing levels, we'll be fine.
Oh, well, we'll raise that with this part of our challenges going forward.
Vic, and then
on that night, I can not making excuses, but early on we'd sold like 40 tickets, and it was sort of, we got about 18. We wasn't certain how many we was going to get. In the end, we had about 120. And what Kate didn't want to do was to have 2 members of bar staff there being paid and not having anything to do. And it is a fine juggling, and I think she'd done a tremendous amount of work, and she was a great asset on the night. When you consider that she might not have even been there. Had it been a normal hire and that happened, she probably wouldn't have been there. But she was wonderful on the night, and yeah, we took me out of too.
good. Okay, thank you, Carla.
I was just gonna tell Alan for your benefit that I also have my DBS. However, I can help if I'm in same event. If I'm not, then I'm not very much help. But I think for valuable purposes, if you're not around and it's an event that I can attend, at least somebody else has a license. I don't know who else has one, but I certainly do. It's one of those things that you can draw for a run, for a rainy day.
Okay,
Just in case you need it at any point.
thank you. Anyone else? Oh, here.
Yeah, just for Dave's purposes, though, really, I see we've had one of the events cancelled again because they haven't sold enough tickets. You know, I've got no answer for it. It's just disappointing, and when we get the public out there looking forward to it, and suddenly it's pulled again, you lose a bit of that goodwill when those people who are, and you know, it's not Kay's fault or anybody's fault. It's just something we need to try. And I don't know whether, because obviously if you lose that booking near the time, you've got no chance of letting that space anyway. Obviously, I don't know whether we can charge them a deposit or a sliding scale deposit as such. Over the time, we do get a higher fee from it, but it does stop others booking that night if they're not going to put the event on. So we've had a few occasions. It is disappointing because they are quite good events potentially, but it's there. And obviously, you know, even if they went ahead with fewer people there, that would still, public would feel that things were called it last. What's been cancelled? It was Howard's
End, which was a Frankie Howard play.
You also had music ones previously where they pulled it.
Yeah, the American Highways was also full. I think, again, both very,
Back in September.
yeah, both very niche. Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, they're both very niche. I think that sometimes is the problem, is figuring out actually.
That was always bad.
Yeah.
That not buying tickets right till the last minute was the mess. With that, you get nearer the time, and okay, to have this conversation with hirers to say, well, just give it a little bit more because they do come out with work. You can understand why the hirer is going to say, well, I ain't sold enough tickets for me to make worthwhile. I'm not put it. Not Sue Hodge was the same. But
Yeah, it was. And sadly, that did then happen when it got put out cancelled. Then you just get a flurry of people saying, "Oh, I was going to put it for that." Yeah. So yeah.
But my afternoon solution is just make you aware of some of the issues.
Solutions are needed.
Yeah.
Clearly, in most situations, so that's something we'll work on.
Yes.
I am aware that the staff have sort of on the website and the Facebook page, they've said, if you don't buy these tickets, these are going to have to get cancelled, and that's why you need to buy your tickets in advance. But it is notoriously bad that everyone. I mean, my son's putting on an event, a rock event, and that hasn't sold a lot of tickets at the moment. It's a weekender. And I've been saying to people at work, you go, no, yeah, well, I'm going to go. I'll just turn up on the night, and it's like,
Difficult.
Might not be happening if you do.
but this is the problem.
I think it is problems. Obviously, I have a lot of friends and colleagues in lots of different theatres across the country, and it is a problem with all of them. I think people are still in that kind of COVID world where they're slightly worried that things are going to get cancelled or something's going to get pulled, so they're not putting their hand in their pocket.
So, I mean, financially, it's a much harder environment for everybody at the moment as well. So I think what part of my job is to combat that, to really dive in and understand what the residents want, and then focus on quality and plenty of advance warning, making sure we hit those numbers early doors. And if we don't, and the supplier, as I call them, does pull out, that they are when they do pull out, as you mentioned, we have a sliding scale, and we benefit from it because we can't then hire it out. But what we might be able to do if we receive some funds for it is utilise it potentially for a service for our residents. That's then being prepaid for by somebody else, and then it still goes to good use. And so something we'll look at.
Thank you. Okay. 60724 calendar of future events. That's
Can we
you.
talk about this? I'll start. So essentially, one of the things that I think the members of this committee have been asking for quite a while is to have a calendar of future events, so that previously we were always reporting on what we had done. We were never really talking about what we were going to do. So Katie, I've had some meetings with Katie and we've kind of tried to put something together. The first part is really what the budget is. And I think we have to understand that we rated our budget for VE Day and VJ Day. So it hasn't been very much money available to do significantly other events. What we are hoping is if some of these events are a little bit more successful, for example, on VE Day, if we generate some income, we can take that pool of income and actually plow it back into other events that we might be able to do. There was an error in the actual approved budget, so I have to go ask for forgiveness from the Corporate Services Committee and full council. We didn't put the 1,300 for the light switch on, was actually put somewhere else, and we just amended that. In terms of our current financial regulations, the town clerk has the authority to approve that environment and just report it through to the Corporate Services Committee.
Very briefly, just to let you guys know that I spoke to Katie about changing, shifting the date of the civic reception from the 6th of June. I think she sort of put it on for the 20th. She just due to come back to me, confirm it for sure. Most likely will be moved to the 20th. The reason is because I've been invited not only as a mayor, but as a Portuguese representative of European communities to be in France, in Les Olets, which is the town that is twinned with us in Thetford, on the 7th of June. If the civic event was on the 6th, I would be a little bit tight for time just to make my way down to Les Olets from Thetford. So in order to be able to attend both, I thought it was just easier to push a little bit more in advance. And she said, as far as you guys are aware, there's not a problem because there's no events issue or anything else. So it'll be most likely on the 20th.
Just to, I think we're doing it late, but just a thing on the budget for the VE Day 8. We are actually getting a fair bit of sponsorship in, some in kind, some in cash. So we may, well, I'm assuming we're going to quite underspend on the £12,000.
Happy days.
Which will be good because we got that in reserve then.
Yeah.
We are doing it late, aren't we?
Yeah, it's what
Yeah. I'm quite pleased with what we've got. So
That's good.
In terms of the educational, it's quite difficult to put the educational activities into a calendar. So I've just give a summary that Katie prepared, and then the actual calendar is just set out here. I've tried to be a little bit careful about recognising income because we've changed the way that we recognise income and expenditure. Previously, we'd recognise income when the event took place and all the expenditure would come later. We now defer that. We defer the income and we defer the expenditure. And I just didn't really want to have numbers on these schedules that if you ask me where they came from, I would have to do a major audit. So we've really just given an idea. Hopefully, the council's had a chance to have a look at this. It just sets out the event, the date, the approved budget, how will the event be funded, what is the target audience, and has the town clerk actually approved it? The town clerk has approved some of them. There's to be confirmed, and there's obviously town events, which indirectly the council have approved through the possibly through the budget. So, Katie wants to add anything further?
Yeah, like Alan said, it's kind of stuff that the team are working on, that the TDC stuff is kind of in its kind of early stages, so things are being pulled together to then obviously take to Sonia to confirm. Obviously the ones at the top that we have had meetings with Sonia, done budgets for them, that are kind of the half-term programs for the community. Obviously every half-term we try, well, every holiday we try to do a Norfolk holiday program, which is a program that Norfolk host up and down around the county, which we got funding for again, which is great. And then yeah, the town events and kind of where it's at with what we're doing with them and what we've kind of got, so that you guys are you're more up to date with actually what's coming up, rather than look what we did. This is look what we're going to do, comments and things. And then the same with the education, what's coming up with the education, rather than look, we've done this, so that you guys can see it beforehand.
Thank you. Matt, do you want to say something?
Yeah, can you scroll back? Keep going. Keep going. A little bit more. There we go. That's all. And just before I make a bit of myself, right-hand column. That's what we budgeted for it. That's not like,
Yeah, that was,
numbers of attendees.
yeah, that was what's in your budget, yeah.
why have we allocated? And is this normal? £1,000 for mayor making and the same amount for VJ8? I don't really know what we would spend that much money on mayor making. We only have a little bit of a spread. It's not a grand worth of on.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, for some sandwiches and some cake, is it? No offence to your mayor making. We've not had any. I don't know.
It's essentially been historical.
I see myself as a big spender, so I'm not overly concerned, but I can see how they have allocated quite a bit to it.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know.
£1,000 on mayor making and £1,000 on VJ day 8. So a bit like we're allocating the same amount of money to both, but they're sort of.
Yeah, there's a bit of a, yeah, they are quite different types of events and.
Sorry, I hate to use the word, the town clerk would kill me if I use the word historical, but we've just basically carried forward the one that they haven't increased for quite a few years. So it's just the same standard amounts. Previously, this would be globular. So it's taken me quite a while to understand what's the breakdown of each of these numbers.
I think it was the civic budget, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it got split, but so sometimes that wasn't spent, maybe that would bring go.
I think that's what I'm saying. The goal isn't to spend.
No. Just kind of where the civic budget is split. So,
Oh, thank you.
So that is just to note that.
Just, that was,
Yes, sorry, Stuart.
it's great to see the schools coming through yet again. I know it's very popular and Chris really took it to his heart this year. Obviously, they're all Thetford schools. Is it that we don't have the capacity to invite schools from further afield in, or is it we just not considered doing that?
so we did last year, but I think, yeah, capacity at the moment is, yeah, quite stretched with the schools that we do as well as everything else in the venue. So, because the last 3 years we have done outreach to both Norwich, Thetford, Durham, Bottom, and Bury St Edmunds. We did a huge project in Bury St Edmunds last year. But yeah, this year is just focused on the Thetford schools.
Because I know it's a great opportunity
Yeah.
to sell Thetford to the wider area
Mhm.
to try and get rid of some of the misconceptions that people have of Thetford.
And it definitely did work, especially with the partnership we made with the UEA in Norwich as well, with their law students, hence our huge history in the science and sports. But yeah, they would still be keen to do more work, definitely.
Can I just ask Katie, did Queensway first and middle school ever come to?
Queensway.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I just wondered because I know they're, they're one of the, not governors, whatever they call the management
Yeah.
thing, but they're sort of really picking up now. I just wondered
Yeah.
if they came.
Yeah, they were difficult to get in with to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're doing the DE project with us.
good.
So yeah, so that's.
Oh, that's good. Okay, 608/24 financial report and other financial information.
I think
Over to you.
it's been so difficult doing the financial reports in the last year. I've done so much changes to the accounts, really got to get all the costing right. So we've been doing a lot of preparation work for that. And in getting to that particular point, I was doing a huge amount of analysis. From the January to the March meeting, or this meeting, we haven't actually done that much different. We have, we put a new controls to control some of the partnership events. We don't have the higher risk events. So it really is a little bit more routine. And I didn't want to repeat the information that I've been tabling from July, October, January into this particular meeting. So I've done a more conventional financial report. It's very similar to what we would see at some of the other committees. And I've really just tried to comment on it. I think what we tried to do, what we're going to talk about going forward. So part of my brief is to do a total cost analysis. So to go through the chart of accounts, open up the chart of accounts for everything, put the income, allocate the expenses out for each of the particular activities, and then to report against that. We budgeted at quite an aggregate level, but we can break that budget down so that when we report against budget, we report more accurately, we give a far better picture of what's happened. And the other part that we're doing is we recognise our income and expenditure in the right period. So previously we deferred certain income because the event hadn't taken place. Recognised income when we actually did have the event. The expenditure sometimes has been recognised before the event, sometimes after the event, sometimes long after the event. So all those, we've become very aware of that, and it's really more of what we are going to do in the future rather than what's happened in the past. If you look at the budget overall, it's to the 28th of February. Because we had budgeted to create the Guildhall Carnegie Trust in September, the budget is what we budgeted and what actual is just not comparable. So we budgeted to transfer the operations. If the council had done that, and we just didn't have the management capacity to do that, there would have been a significant contribution to working capital from the council. So instead, we've just ended up a little bit, probably a slightly bigger loss than what we budgeted. But that does make the comparison exceptionally difficult. So the numbers here are here. I have tabled them because this is what goes into the corporate services financial report, and we explain that. I know it's very micro, so I do apologise for those that can't see the numbers. But it is, you know, you go to the corporate services report, you'd actually probably see it in a little bit more detail, and it's really there. So you'll see overall we budgeted expenditure of 193. We've incurred expenditure of 336,000. That's because we had passed 6 months of expenses into the new entity. And if you go back to the income, this is the income. We had budgeted £43,000 and we ended up with £90,000, which is just over double, you know, half a year's budget. And like I say, to make any more sense out of this, I think you would probably shoot me as an accountant, because you would see the boring side of why we call accountants boring.
Any comments or anything on that? Nobody understands it.
It's on board.
I've achieved my objective.
Okay, 60924, progress on actions from previous meetings.
What you see completed, that's happened since the last meeting. So there's a completed on 40324 midway down. What else is completed? 48224 is completed. 483 is completed. 488 at the bottom is completed. I think we've also done 48524, but it is quite early because those tickets will only go out, and the actual event is much later on in the year, if I remember correctly. And 488 we've actually done. We're discussing some of the items, for example, 489 at the bottom, that's been discussed in our meeting tonight, later on. So we have made a little bit of progress, and we're trying to change our internal management process so these get that we kind of manage these on more of an ongoing process. It's particularly important if we change the frequency of our meetings from monthly to quarterly or every 2 months, that these are followed up, and the town clerk is putting in place the management processes to ensure that happens.
Any comments? Matt?
And sort of an add-on one that wasn't on that. We've asked for quite a while now for better advertising throughout the town and stuff, and specifically the notice boards that we have. I mean, with my standing forth hat on, the extraordinary amount they're trying to make us pay to use that notice board, which I don't agree with. And I'll put my foot down on that one. But we have that notice board, sort of bollard units. Yes, whatever it is. Opposite the post office. I have seen that you use more, but we've got on that's excellent. But if we just sort of update in the future, everything is sort of adding on there, if that's the works. Just how we're sort of upping our advertising game, that would be great.
Just really, it's the big poster sites as well that are on the side of the Carnegie.
Yeah.
Actually, through VEDA and through the contacts we're getting from sponsorship, we've got a printing company, because those poster sites are awful. The posters slide down, they look a mess. So he's actually, for free, going to create some Corex boards to go in there. that will kind of say Carnegie and Guildhall upcoming events that will then hold the posters better. So that will look much nicer on the side of Carnegie, because every time we get up the ladder to put the posters in, as soon as it rains, they just, whereas these horror things will kind of help to secure the post. So hopefully that will look nicer as well. So,
On the thread of advertising, I did notice the other day when I was driving through town, because I have a horrible eye for flyer posting. It does my absolute head in. I did notice we have a banner up.
we do.
Which I thought, so I really hope we have permission for that.
We do.
All right, praise it. But the VUI outside, is it Albion?
Yeah.
Is it Albion? On the Coiler, that's excellent.
And there'll be one going up outside Baxter's.
It's fantastic. Well done to the teams there. Everything was done, because that's really good advertising for those ones.
Okay, any other comments? Okay. Action plan. 6/10/24 then, update report on upcoming VE and VJ days 2025.
Yeah, so I think this, so yeah, we're pretty much there with the day. We've had great responses, like Vic saying, on our sponsorship packages as well, which is really helping. So just to get you all up to date and up to speed, obviously the steering group for the meeting, which consists of Vic, Carla, and Mac, who hopefully, obviously he wasn't going to be here for this meeting, he had a meeting. But we have pretty much everything secured now for the main day on Sunday. So we have, we've obviously got all the food sorted. So we've got pie and mash, we've got hog roast, pudding. They're going to shut their shop and they're going to come down there. Got Marigold's tea room. I'm going to come from Dad's Army and create a pop-up Marigold's tea room down there, serving more type stuff. We've also have obviously got the fairground there. Larry Gray is going to donate one of his generators so that we can obviously don't have to fork out for a generator for the food trucks, which is awesome, and also that will generate our bar as well. Our bar has been donated by Lakons, so the actual portable bar, Lakons have donated that and also given us a kind of what you don't sell, we'll buy back offer on the beer, which is also awesome. We've got face painting down there. We've got Traquinas that are coming down to do some children's activities. We've also got our museum tent where our 80 stories will feature, which hopefully you've all been seeing on social media. We've also got kind of parts of some of the diaries from World War II. I've been speaking to the Imperial War Museum, who've also given some stuff to display in there as well. We've got all of our toilets still, which is the boring bits, all our waste disposal. That's all going to be picked up from site, which is great, instead of having to drag it all the way back through town. We've got our programme of events for the day, so the mayor's welcome. Then Charlie Wilson, who is down Melody Lane, will be doing a set. Then we've got our big headline band, which is the Jazz and Swing Kings, which is a 12-piece swing band. They're going to do 2 sets for us. Got Sam Trayton, who's going to sing some more like rap packy kind of stuff. We've got the East Anglian Lindy Hoppers that are going to do some demonstrations with people on the day. And then obviously the big band will come back on for the end. We're also working with About Thetford and doing a promotion where families can bring a little token and get, if you saw in pictures, either a little helmet or a little kind of Union Jack Bealy Bopper kind of bow thing on their heads. And yeah, sponsorship, I think we've got 6 now, sponsorships of £300 each. We've also got Chris Richards is also going to provide us with the lorry for the stage for free as well. And obviously I was talking about the person that's going to do all the advertising. He's given us £300 worth of advertising for free, which would be great for us to print more flyers, print more banners once the sponsorship. So we've got 1 more week left of sponsorship. So if you know anybody, please their arm behind their back and say, come on, help us. So yeah, so we're pretty much there. And on the actual VE day itself on the 8th, Amber is working hard with the schools at the moment doing a project on bunting, which on one side is going to be kind of the celebration of the war ending, and then on the back it's going to be commemorating those that were lost in the war. So that will be displayed in the Guildhall on that night. We'll also have the 80 stories displayed in the large hall. You can come and see and have some singers outside and obviously the lighting of the beacons. That's a smaller kind of event than obviously D-Day was, because D-Day was on, and then obviously we've got the celebration on a Sunday. Saturday, even, yeah. Have I missed anything that?
No, and
Yeah.
I do echo what I said earlier. There has been a tremendous amount of work put into this. One of the things that we was charged with as the subcommittee was to ensure that this is bigger and better, and I honestly feel this will be bigger and better than D-Day. And it is just a few people that have done all that work, and it's tremendous amount of work.
Just some logistical stuff as well. We've managed to find in the budget so that we can go and set up on the Friday, and then the security company can do overnight security, so it won't be massive for the team to come in on Saturday morning and do all of that. So it can all be set up and laid out on the Friday. Overnight security, and Larry Gray will be sleeping there as well.
She's around.
Yeah, and so yeah, hopefully then Saturday will be more of a right, let's get the finishing touches on the team, and then we've got 2 ambulances down there for so, and security all day. So
Matt Linvick.
I can't stress how relieved this feels that I know as councillors we've been a little bit worried at previous full councils and committee meetings and stuff. This is great. It's an absolute testament to the working groups, and Katie, your hard work as well. Absolute huge testament. Also to get the sponsorships and to do it all currently £1.5 grand under budget as well, which is fantastic. I have one question about the bar. Is there a reason we are not doing a bar?
we are. So that is
Okay,
our
we
bar.
are.
That is our bar. So Lacon's. So obviously we don't have facilities to have pumps and stuff outside. So Lacon's are giving us that for free. Basically, they're delivering them. They're setting them up. They'll train the sessional staff, and Alan's going to be behind the bar. And then yeah.
Yes, there is.
So and then obviously they will then, we're going to buy in the case, and anything we don't sell they'll then buy that, which is great. So it's just kind of the only problem we face at the bar is trying to, and obviously me and David will sit down with Liv and go through how much we take down, because you can never estimate how many people are going to be coming to these events. So I think that's a brilliant thing that Lacon's will buy back any barrels, but it's just that kind of other canned Coke, different kinds of drinks that I think we go small and multiple of that rather than having an array of spirits and all of this kind of stuff. I think, yeah, and then hopefully we should make a great income.
Large quantities of a small.
Of a small selection, which kind of some of the, I've worked with some really big ones before, and kind of just got the board that big with the options on, and people are happy.
People drink.
Yeah, exactly. And we're also going to encourage, we're doing Kate's work, and Kate's been brilliant on the marketing and doing all the 80 stories and stuff and getting the sponsorship as well. And I think it's just testament. The community seem like on board with it as well. I think that's what's really nice as well. The sponsorships we're getting, the feedback we're getting, and then going into the care homes. Me and Kate have been going into the care homes to get the 80 stories, and that's just been really lovely to get out to the community. And then obviously all those people hopefully will then come down with their families, or their families will come down, and with the schools involved as well. Fingers crossed, it will be a good time.
Thank you. Really appreciate your hard work on it.
One thing really is a plea. I'll do this at full council as well. It's been asked if councillors can, even if it's just an hour, help on the day. Whether it's, I don't know, you could go helping in the history tent, doing a bit of bar work, doing whatever. If people can come and help, identify yourself with your badges as well, but so they know that we're all around. But it's just having the extra hands would help out, right?
Carla.
We've been saying that their help is most needed to set up and then to clear up towards the end, because we need extra pair of hands.
Yeah.
Even if councillors or anybody, family members, whatever, they can come down and give us a
Setting
hand.
up and breaking
Them set up. I think that was one of the main areas
Yeah,
that
the
needed
Friday.
extra
I don't know,
hands
if people work, so
on Friday,
and the
yeah.
council team are all on board for that. Friday's kind of all
on
system.
Friday afternoon towards evening,
Yeah.
setting it up for the next day.
And then just the
It would be,
the end.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but also the
Helping with those
security
tasks.
was awesome in their contract. They were also little pictures.
Yeah, yeah, but
one of the things that they've done is whenever anyone's doing anything, there's always an add-on for them. So they do two things rather than just coming and doing the one thing.
Yeah.
And it's sort of value for money. I mean, the generator with Larry Gray, yeah, it's doing the pump down. It's giving the generator as well.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I know you're doing this, but if you could do this as well,
Yeah, exactly.
and all agree.
yeah, everybody's keen on helping out. This has been one event that's been unifying across the board with all the different,
Yeah.
groups and businesses
And to add to that,
that
as well,
participate.
to say, Dad's Army aren't just bringing marigolds to them, even though it's their Dad's Army Appreciation Society that weekend. The platoon are also going to come down
Yeah.
and then join the fans, which is great considering it's your biggest weekend of
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're coming to assist with that side. So there's the partnerships, and also Ancient House have been helping us. So it'd be nice to signpost their event that day as well, just so that the town is unified really.
Do we need to ask or send an email round to the councillors to get help, or do you want to say when you need more help than, is it going to be more help on the setting up?
Well,
Not
when
today.
we do the minutes for this meeting at full council,
Yeah,
I'm quite happy to mention it then.
yeah, okay, we'll do that.
And at every full council that we have, if
Yeah, just
necessary.
keep asking.
Yeah, a little bit cajoling, it won't go,
I think people will be really happy to go. I mean,
yeah, it's a big event of the year, and
exactly.
and even if it's just an hour, I mean, most of us will be attending anyway.
Yeah.
And I've not got a problem going around and doing stuff. I'll probably be there for most of it. I'll try and get my governor to give me a couple of extra hours off, and I'll be there for all of it.
Excellent. Yeah, Matt.
It's a slight dig, so just forgive me when I do this, but I think it's really good as well, that not in us, at the councils. I think it is really good that we are seen helping because, and this is the dig bit, the quiz, there was a handful of councillors there for the mayor's quiz, and the one before that, and the one before that. It was the same few of us, and my conscience is clear, so I can say this.
Nice.
And they pleaded the case. It's the
Yeah.
same few every time, and we can't have select amount of something as big as this. It's really, really important. It's also practical. It's great PR for us. You know, we need to be seen there.
Absolutely.
But I think whether that's just as I implore the whole council to even just come and attend. You can't clean up and you can't lift it, you can't do it, it's absolutely fine. But please just come in the first place, and just be seen there, take photos. That's 18 councillors, 18, that's 18 councillors all sharing pictures of the day rather than 5 councillors who attend all sharing pictures of the same event. And because we all know each other, we're going to come together. So we're the same 5 councillors with the same 5 pictures. So the more councillors who can attend in general,
That would be
it
good.
would be fantastic, even if you can't. But a big push on making sure if every council can come and help would be a bonus. But I think the minimum we can do is turn up.
Absolutely. Oh, Stuart.
Yeah, just, have we got any old vintage vehicles coming, or are they all booked out as
They're
well?
all booked out.
Yeah.
So
So,
Chris is trying to, he's got another contact, Chris from Dad's Army, apologies. He spoke to me today, so he is still, fingers crossed, will still have
yeah, that's
a
fine.
couple.
Yeah. So I'm just saying the door's still open, so if we are
Definitely.
aware of people who want,
that I've
because
got him in.
Nigel Locke's got like a Jeep,
Brilliant, yeah,
so I could tag to him,
yeah,
come along one day.
Yeah,
or,
definitely.
you know, so that you know.
Yeah.
He can be there on display. So I think there are 2 or 3 people around like that, John, Chris.
that's what Chris was saying, that's brilliant, just so you can get a little section of them, that'll be great.
Can I add on to that?
Mm.
It might be worth as well, I know it's sort of shoehorning the idea in, but reaching out to either Thetford or Norfolk Police to see if they've got any sort of archival, not police, fire,
I know what you mean, yeah.
and see if they've got any sort of
Yeah,
archival
that would be good.
wall-based memorabilia or photos, or they can have having a fire drill there is just for the kids.
Yeah,
But if they can then sort of shoehorn some pictures that they may have of that era.
Might even be able to get a young lady that was in the fire service during the war,
Yeah.
because she was in the Coronation House.
And we're going there next Tuesday, finally.
Fantastic, I'm really pleased with it.
We can't get.
She's a fantastic lady. I met her at a D-Day celebration, and I spoke to her at length, and I lost her contact. She said, pop in anytime you want, but I don't think she lives there now. She lives in Coronation
She
House
does,
now.
yeah.
And she's a fantastic lady, a very interesting lady. She served in the fire service. She wanted to join the forces, wasn't able to join the forces, but she joined the fire service, which was out the back of here where the Dad's Army Museum is, and she used to go and do all the air bases.
Yeah.
Really interesting lady.
Story.
Really
Really
interesting.
have, yeah.
Excellent.
Really do that, so give them one to go.
Yeah, well,
Okay, moving on to 6/11/24, proposed update to the flag policy. What?
In terms of documentation, we've kind of, we approved a flag policy. I'm not sure we approved a flag flying policy, and I think that's come back to bite us a little bit. I think the distinction was made when we were approving the flag policy. So what the document does, it just says this is what the town council's flag policy was. These are the flags. Our biggest challenge is where do we actually fly them, and how do we fly them? We have town council currently owns 6 flagpoles, 1 flagpole here at the Guildhall, which I think is on the roof here. I took the other day, and King's House has 5 flagpoles. Now, King's House, it's actually the flagpoles, who the ownership is, which probably is Thetford Town Council, but it's actually on GW standing for charity ground. And the question comes, do we use that as one of the places to fly the flags? We'd have to get agreement from the board for the use of that, and that again has its challenges. We have no presence now at all at King's House, so that makes the flying and the using of the flagpoles there a little bit more difficult. What our civic officer has done is put out some options when she was preparing this paper. Option 1 is to utilise the current flagpole and put a portable flagpole only. There's some drawbacks to that. Option 2 is to install 2 new flag poles on the marketplace between the Shambles and the Guildhall. So the space over there that will allow us to more fully, if I could use that word, implement the flag policy. So those are the 2 options that have been proposed. The costs are there. We've tried to just estimate what the staff hours will be. This is just really quite preliminary numbers, and that's really what the recommendations or the 2 options to explore are. There are 3 officer recommendations to consider, either option 1 or 2, or any other options identified by the committee, to approve officers to implement the selected option using the civic-related reserve to fund any resulting expenditure, and to update the flag policy if required, and to table amended policy at the next committee meeting.
Okay, Matt.
We've got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I have a couple of things. One, forgive my ignorance. Why are we having a Pride Month flag flying and then an international, or sorry, then before that, an International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphobia? For me, Pride is one in the same. I understand it's a month versus a day, and the flags are probably different. But for me, having the Pride flag out for a month is way better than flying the International Day Against Homophobia for one day. Yeah, and I also don't know where that came from. I don't think that was even in our, was that in our flag policy?
No, we didn't, I never,
I don't remember
I
mentioning.
don't remember that being mentioned.
The matrix was developed from that. Okay, honestly, it's my understanding.
Yeah. I'm happy to be talked about. I don't think we need International Day Against the Phobias when we've got the Pride flag flying for a month.
I agree.
I think that's great to have it flying for a month rather than and then have, I don't know what that flag looks like. I don't think that the layperson will see that flag on the top of the guild and go, that's the Day Against the Phobias. I mean, the Pride flag is obvious. I wouldn't know what all the rest. I mean, I had to learn what the Norfolk flag looked like, but all the rest are pretty obvious. But I just don't see the need to fly that one for one day when we've got a Pride for a month. That's point one. Point two. Yeah, I don't think we can use King's House even if we don't nail the sockets, but I think it's just they'll probably charge us for that as well. Option wise, I'm really bitter about it. That's all I've thought about this past few weeks. I don't think we are making some really tough financial decisions lately based on the amount of work we need to do to a lot of our buildings. I don't think we can justify £3.5 grand on some new sockets or fixing some sockets. I don't, this is why I open up after this. I don't know what the option is, but I don't, what's wrong with just the one flag we've got? The one pole on the top of the Guildhall, and we just swap it round as and when we need them. Can you not fly 2 flags on one pole? Is that a no-no?
Don't think you can.
The more you know about flags then. Yeah, for me, it would be like we agree on that involves the least amount. I understand flag. I was with Doug pushing for the flag policy and I'm all for it. It's really important, but it shouldn't come at a few £1,000 cost to do so. It's flags. So I would just personally utilise what we've got, fly that flag on the Guildhall.
If we've got sockets for flagpoles on the marketplace, and we've got flagpoles at King's House, can't we just take the ones from King's House and put them in the socket here?
It's quite expensive. We'd have to put the independent board members have really indicated to indirectly, I'll say it wasn't done in a formal meeting, to the GW Staples Park that we'd have to put good. And because they're into the tarmac, it would cost us a few £1,000s to dig them out and relocate them.
That's going forward.
Ava, did you want to say something?
Just to add on to that, are we able to see any flag raised currently in Guildhall with scaffolding and what's there at the minute? Do we know?
Yeah.
Visible? Okay. I think good idea. Makes sense.
So we just use the one flagpole and,
Sorry.
yeah, Katie.
I think what Kate identified when she was doing it is that sometimes you have to fly 2 flags. There's things like for remembrance and things like that. So I think what she found was that actually to have a protocol of flag flying, we couldn't do it because we didn't have enough poles at some point. I'm not quite sure which day it was. I think it was remembrance because you have to have the Union flag and you have to have the difference is one has to be a half mast and one has. So I think it was. So that might just be a clarification from Kate because we do have the one on the top of the Guildhall and we do have a portable one. So whether it is that it is just 2 that we have to fly and we can just put the portable one on the Guildhall and just fly the other one. But I know that there was something around the fact that we didn't have enough flagpoles for the amount of flags we had to fly up at one time.
It's in option number 2. So in the month of June, we have Union flag, Pride flag, Norfolk Day and Armed Forces Day on.
Oh, right.
I think that was the
Optional, isn't it?
one month. Yeah, so I think that was what it was.
So could we have the one on the guild?
It's all right.
Sorry, I was thinking the one on the Guildhall and then a portable one for the times when we need another one flying.
That's what.
Is that sort of?
That's basically what I was doing. As a compromise, well, the one Pride flag is going to be flying for a month, so I would assume that would have to fly on the Guildhall because you can't have the portable one outside for a month. But where they're flown for the day, i.e. St George's Day, Commonwealth Day, Holocaust Memorial Day, there isn't any reason why we can't use what we've already got with the portable one and park the new flagpoles until we're a little bit, a little bit more in the black than the red. So that we've got the money then to do it and use that as a future project. For this year, we've already done Holocaust Memorial Day. Commonwealth Day is up for one day. We could do that on the Market Square. St George's Day is one day. We can do that on the Market Square with a portable. I'd say I agree with Matt. The day against homophobia, transphobia, and all that. I don't see why we want to do that. Is anyone going to come to that ceremony?
Do we need to take that out then? Do we need
Well, that's a decision that has to be made.
yeah,
Yeah.
Something else, but
Yeah.
I agree with Matt. I think that I don't know where that comes from.
So
Pride Month would go from the Guildhall, obviously, because it's up there for 30 days.
Mhm.
Norfolk Day, because it's in June, that could be on the Market Square on a temporary one. Armed Forces Day, the same. Remembrance Day would have the Union flag there, and again, we could do the other one on Market Square. So we could get by with that for a
This
couple of
year,
years. And then when we got a bit more money, then we stick the new flagpoles up.
for us as officers, because then we go around and amend the flag policy and then bring that back. And because it's approved by council, we'd have to take it back to council. But that would be quite useful. So then we could actually say on this day, portable, we'll fly this flag, and just make sure that the policy supports what we actually do, and then just use a portable policy if that's what this what this committee recommends.
okay.
And just, so we bought the portable one for D-Day, and if it was a problem that you did need more, I think that the portable one was only about £300. So if you did need, that's a lot better if you did need to buy another portable one rather than spending £3,000 on moving poles and stuff like that. So.
So, Matt then Vic.
Yeah, just for forgive me ignorance, the portable one, is it floor level based? It's not something we're going to use upstairs. It's like outside.
Yeah,
the
so
door.
it's basically, I was going to draw it anyway, so it's basically lots of pallets on top of each other that got black cover over them. So my thinking as well is it's quite big. You could get the boys to, like the works team, to potentially drill a couple of holes in it and then just file another flagpole as well. And then the flagpoles just slot into them and they fly like that. So we used, I don't know if you remember for D-Day, it stood at the back of where we had the staging. So it's quite a big unit. At the moment, it sits in our chair store, so they're quite portable. So, and then you obviously put the flagpoles in them. So they're quite visible to the public as well.
I'd probably. Well, my only thing is I don't want the idea from a perspective point of view. We put Pride on the top of the Guildhall and we put one of the other ones on the flag on the ground level. I don't want to be then accused of we fly by anyone, and it's not just Pride, it could be anyone. You know, we have Holocaust Memorial, for example, on the Guildhall, but we fly Remembrance may have to eventually go on the one on the ground. I can just see the comments we're going to get. So what I would probably recommend is the Union flag is only ever used on the portable one, and we use the one on the Guildhall to constantly rotate out for the flags that we need. So we fly the flag, the Union flag and stuff. We have the Union flag flying on the Carnegie, and when we need to put something else on top of it, is it the Carnegie or the Guildhall? When we put something on the Guildhall, we take the Union flag and fly that ground. The only flag that ever moves between the two is the Union flag, and we fly all of our other ones from the Guildhall. That way no one can ever say we've put a different flag on ground level, therefore we're not feeling it as important as the rest. Because it's not, you're not going to please anyone, but if everyone's not going to please anyone at all, we're going to please everyone. I just don't want us to be accused of, through no fault of our own, flying one on ground level and one on the thing, and then
Not giving it equal.
not everyone giving everyone the same.
Someone to say something.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, didn't we say that Union flag would fly from the Guildhall all the time, and the other flagpoles would be for the other ones? The problem would be Pride Month. We've got one problem which we don't want to leave out there because that will get The Pride Month is going for a month and then we've got two others going on there and you can't put two flags on the same pole. So something has to give.
Maybe we look at the length we have Pride on that follow.
I was just going to say, could we just do
We could do Pride,
Pride Month till the 27th?
we could do Pride Week.
That's probably better, but where we don't clash with the others.
Yeah, so then it would
Well-
come down for Norfolk Day
Yeah.
and Armed Forces Day, so it would only go up till, say, the 26th of June.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I think, yeah, it's still, yeah,
I know it might sound a bit controversial, but I just think with Pride Week, we put it up for Pride Week. When did it become a month?
This on,
Is it?
because there's no official planned day. It's each town has their own. So Norfolk Pride is different to Brighton Pride.
So it tends part of the said month.
Yeah, it's Pride Month, and that's when companies put their rainbows together and everything, claim that around. But Brighton and Manchester and York are all on different weekends.
So can we do Pride Week?
Yeah.
We could, well, we can either do a week or we can do the 1st to the 25th,
yeah.
and then 20, yeah, we're losing 4 days if we do that. I don't think anyone's gonna crucify that, chopping 4 days off of it.
Yeah.
We can either go with a week or we can do the 27, 26 days.
Yeah,
I'm easy with either, to be honest.
right. So Carla,
Just ask, there may be a silly question, but I am not sure. Do we have a specific date for Norfolk Pride, or is that one of those weeks that is up in the air for Norfolk to come up with whatever dates they want to celebrate that specific week?
Norwich Pride is the big one.
Right, so, because I thought we had a sort of a week within the year where it's celebrated across Norfolk. I was wondering if there's like a fixed date yearly,
so,
or if it's, every year you can change slightly the dates, because then we can either follow whichever date we already have as this is Norfolk date, this is our turf, or
You've got,
work the flag,
you've got Kingsland Pride, Norwich Pride.
pick the date to suit our flags, because we have this little conundrum of post limitation.
Wait, but it depends on your area. So we can have our own day and call it the
That's what
day
I'm
we
saying.
choose the fire.
If there isn't a fixed one for Norfolk, this area, maybe we'll start a trend. We'll set up the dates, and from now on, this will be Norfolk dates-ish, but at least that's the dates.
Whole issue completely then, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the solution solves the issue, saves us money.
Yeah. It's make it so that the
In
flag.
all honesty, we don't have £3,500 that we can just go there. I don't,
no,
Make
you
it
know,
so that-
we don't have that money.
It
We've
just,
got roofs, we've got ceilings falling down that we need addressing,
yeah.
which is by far more important.
The irony of this entire situation is the actual Thetford Pride event is the 2nd of August.
Yeah.
No,
It's not even, it's not even anything to do with
This-
the Thetford Pride, so do what you want.
I was only impressed there was some sort of pride celebration run across Norfolk in the summer.
Look.
We can do the first week of June, or we can do up until the 25th, and then that way we don't have to. Whoever going up, because that take Pride down, you know,
yeah,
then a week later go up and take it. I would say run it up to the 26th.
Yeah.
I've only taken Pride down and putting Norfolk
and then put
straight.
Norfolk up, and then, yeah, I think that would be a lot easier than, like you say, putting it up for a week, then taking it down, and then it's watch week, and,
I think we need to be very specific about which week we choose, then we set up a trend that will be every year on that week.
no, we're going to do it from 1st of June, 26th.
Again, my ignorance, is Norfolk Day a set day? No matter what,
That's what I was
it will always be
asking
the
about.
27th of June. Well, then I thought we can just say from the 1st of June, Pride is flown into Norfolk Day.
Okay, yeah,
Norfolk Day is flown on
Okay,
Norfolk Day.
yeah.
And then it swaps out for around 4. I mean, for the 27th and 29th, you might have to Norfolk Day off for another day and then swap it over.
and then take it down for the 29th, yeah, yeah.
Have them rolling in future.
Briefly, this kind of sorts the temporary clash of flags for now, just so we don't put our hands in the budget further on than what we are, like fix it. But it's definitely not a long-term solution. I think we need more than one flagpole. And if we're not using King's House, something's got to be, we have to think very seriously next year or so to increase it at least by one pole extra, just so that when there's remembrance or other dates that do require 2 flags, they are flown side by side, rather than having displacements,
Gives us a chance to
It,
put some in the
ticking the box.
raven.
we're ticking a box, but we're not doing properly, we just set certain flags, you know, side by side, in my opinion, yes.
Right, so the decision,
It's for us to revise the flag policy and bring it
Yeah.
back to committee. And
yeah,
fit the flag policy around the options that have been selected.
yeah. So do we need a
Yes.
proposer for that? Matt and Vic seconded.
I just had to ask for a vote.
Uh,
All those in favour?
all those in favour. Anyone against? Nope, okay.